Good afternoon. My name is Mark Yancy Jr. And I was asked by my sister Chelsea S. to just send a video just talking about how God is good and giving a testimony. I've been blessed to have dozens and dozens of instances to pull from where God has truly shown himself true in my life. But one of the most significant thus far is the birth or the events surrounding the birth of both my sons. My oldest son, Mark the third, was born premature. He came about a month and a half early. It was our first son. At the time, it was our first son. And, as new parents or pending new parents, you have an idea of what pregnancy is like and what to expect. And, you make your plans and stuff like that. So we had planned this baby shower. Chantel had picked the colors and all of those types of things. The food, the games, it was a whole elaborate plan. But what actually happened, Chantel was not able to attend the baby shower because she was admitted into the hospital and on bed rest, strict bed rest at the time of the shower. So we went forth with the shower anyway. I left the hospital to come to the shower, took the pictures and stuff like that. I couldn't imagine what she felt in that moment, but it was just one of those things when it was a very anxious, anxiety-filled time because everything that we was experiencing wasn't the plan. It wasn't how we had planned it to be. But in the midst of all of the turmoil and fear, scared nature, God continued to show himself true in our lives and give us peace. So my oldest son was ultimately born about 4.5 weeks early. He ended up spending 4 weeks in the NICU. Where he battled, jaundice, and he was born with 2 cerebral cysts, one on each side of his brain. And again, anxiety, fear tries to creep in. But God showed himself true again. And he gave us peace no matter what the doctors was telling us. No matter what, doctors got to do what they got to do, and they got to say what they got to say. But what my wife and I, as well as everybody in our family and in our church family who prayed with us during this time, believed is that God and his word will always prevail. So we're going through the diagnosis. The doctors are prepping us. He's early. He's not going to cry. You're not going to hear him. You're not going to hear him when he's born, because we got to rush him out. We got to do things because it's early. It's early. It's early. So we are preparing ourselves as parents for all possibilities while still believing in God to be true. So we go through the events. Finally, they can't stay his birth anymore. Her water had broken weeks ago. So we're here. Mark the third is born, and he is loud. He is crying. His lungs are strong. His presence, he came into this world defying everything that we were told medically, period. He came in this world screaming at the top of his lungs. They did take him to the NICU, observed him, and all of that type of stuff. Sorry, truck driver. It was a process, but again, throughout this process, God gave us peace. Period. God has always given us peace in the most tumultuous times of our life. So that was my firstborn, Mark the 3rd. He came 4.5 weeks early. Fast forward to my youngest son, Malcolm. Malcolm was born at 24.5 weeks, which is significantly premature. He was a micro preemie. Going into this pregnancy, we had plans again. But one of the things we took into account was the fact that it was a high risk situation because Mark 3 was a high risk pregnancy. Well, it was a complicated pregnancy, but God specializes in complication. Malcolm had a lot of other things surrounding his premature birth. It was a C-section. It was an emergency C-section. He ended up spending almost 5 months in the NICU and went through his share of emergency circumstances, all related to his birth. But God continued to give us peace in these situations. And what's crazy enough, Malcolm has maintained. Both of my boys came into this world defying odds. Malcolm has defied double the odds. His survivor rate was believed to be, or stated to be, small. My youngest son, Malcolm, he's 9 years old. He has had his circumstances, but the last 6 years of his life has been constant growth, constant development, constant achievement. He's thriving in his school setting. He goes to a special needs school. His diagnosis is cerebral palsy, quadriplegia. But Malcolm is thriving. Mark 3 is thriving. My boys are thriving. My wife is thriving. I'm thriving. All because God has continued to show himself true in our lives. What I tell everybody, what I tell anybody, is that if you allow God space and priority in your life, he will lead you and he will guide you in the truest, honest, purest way possible. He will protect you. He will provide for you. When the math ain't mathing, the math come in. When the doctors or when lawyers or whoever are giving you their professional outlook, just trust and believe that God's powerful outlook supersedes all of that. During both pregnancies, while my wife was on bed rest in the hospital, I played, it's a song by Dietrich Haddon and I think Eddie James, He's Able. I played that song on a loop every night. And that's because I truly believe then, and I know for a fact now, that God is able to do more than what anybody believes him to do. What we can conceptualize him to do, God can do. God is bigger. God is greater. God is stronger. God is better than anything that we can imagine. And as we align ourselves with him, his will, those benefits trickle down to us. So thank you, Chelsea, for giving me an opportunity and constant reminders to take this. I believe she's going to put this on her platform, Sit With Me Sundays. Make sure y'all like, share, follow, repost her videos. She's really an amazing young lady. And I'm looking forward to continued partnership with her and just broadening the platform of how good God is. So thank y'all for y'all time. Peace.